looking overseas for lower tax rates.
Right, and this is what you're trying to fix. So the rate goes down.
That's right. So we're trying to fix that.
The
so we want to
idea
get
is,
that,
yes, that the corporations will then spend the money on their workers, on jobs, that kind of thing, correct?
But we also say to corporations, not only are we going to let you bring your money back from overseas, which is trapped overseas, we're going to tax you at a rate that is on par with the rest of the world.
Gotcha.
But we're going to give you an incentive to invest in American jobs and American businesses. You can write off your investments if you do it in America by hiring more people when you purchase new plant and equipment. So we are convinced, and the studies are really clear, workers benefit, wages go up, more jobs occur, but most importantly, we need to put the American economy in a better competitive position so that we can compete and win jobs and get faster economic growth. But don't forget, this is a big tax cut for families as well.
It is, and I want to get to that, but let me just jump in on this because, again, the biggest tax rate cut is for corporations, and the problem is a lot of CEOs have said, really candidly, I'm looking at a list of CEOs who said, we don't plan to reinvest. What they're planning to do is to do stock buybacks, to line the pockets of shareholders. Let me quote Michael Bloomberg, a billionaire, hardly an enemy of business. He said, CEOs aren't waiting on a tax cut to jumpstart the economy, a favorite phrase of politicians who have never run a company or to hand out raises. It's pure fantasy to think that the tax bill will lead to significantly higher wages and growth. I'll ask you plainly, are you living in a fantasy world?
I would compare that anecdote to just the surveys of businesses like the National Association of Manufacturers surveys, which show the vast majority of businesses are going to do just what we say, reinvest in their workers, reinvest in their factories, pay people more money, higher wages.
Let me pin you down on that, though.
The data is really clear, by the way. Workers benefit from this through higher wages. It's not a question of if, it's a question of how much they benefit.
And I'm jumping in on this because it's so important, so forgive my interrupting, but I really want to drill down on this point. The Wall Street Journal recently had a conference of CEOs, and Gary Cohen, the White House economic advisor, asked them, are you going to reinvest this money if tax reform passes? Let me show you what happened.
If the tax reform bill goes through, do you plan to increase investment, your company's investment, capital investment? Just a show of hands, the tax reform goes through? Okay.
Why aren't the other hands up?
Why aren't the other hands up?
Gary Cohen saying, why aren't the hands up? And the fact of the matter is corporations are already sitting on a ton of cash. They have record profits, $2.3 trillion. Why aren't they raising wages and creating jobs now?
Guess right. About $3 trillion of that cash is trapped overseas and cannot come back into our economy to be reinvested because of our tax laws. So you remove these barriers to investment in our economy. You give businesses an incentive to invest in America, in their factories, and that's exactly what we do. So, look, Savannah, the tax rate before this bill passes is 35%. That's the highest in the industrialized world. The rest of our competitors tax their companies at about 22.5%. Canada is 15%. Ireland's 12.5%. England's 17%. China's no higher than 25%. So when we tax American businesses at much, much higher tax rates than our foreign competitors are taxing theirs, we're losing and they're gaining. And what's more important, American businesses are moving overseas. They're not even American companies anymore. This is a trend that has to be reversed. And we know that if we fix these tax laws, we will get reinvestment back in this economy.
Let me
you can
ask
point
you
to these anecdotes, but I would just tell you, every study under the sun shows us you lower the tax rates, make us more competitive, you will see faster economic growth in America.
And